A new study shows recent college graduates in Kansas may be overestimating their starting salaries. This week, I paid a visit to Wichita State University to ask students how much money they think they'll make whenever they graduate. They were pretty confident, but do their expectations align with the average starting salary of college graduates? A survey of 100 LinkedIn users in Kansas by Authority.org shows the average college graduate expects to make $72,000 a year. What do Wichita State students think?
I think I'll start with a salary of $80,000.
Hopefully I'm making around 75 to 80K.
Probably around 70,000 or so for my first job.
Most students said somewhere between 70 and 80,000 a year. Of course, it's all dependent on career field, but Bankrate and the National Association of Colleges and Employers say the average salary for 2024 college graduates is actually about $68,500 a year.
That's crazy. I definitely think a lot of people you talk to definitely assume more than that.
First-year physician's assistant student Evan Deal thinks students need to be better educated on salary expectations, and she's not the only person that feels that way.
Honestly, I think they probably should do a bit more research before they do their major.
Finance in general coming up through high school and college, you're not really taught a ton. I think that's something that probably needs to be upped in our curriculum just a little bit.
Which is the final point many students agreed upon. They should research their majors so they have proper salary expectations.
I made sure I did my research on that.
I think it's good to know what you're gonna make, and especially per job.
Ask to see what the average salary rate is looking at.
So I think making sure students realize the reality of it is a good thing.
Authority.org says the average college student nationwide believes they'll make just over $73,000 in their first job, so Kansas students are actually a little below the national average.